I believe that if you are a real person, you are using Bitcoin right now. You are one of the first people to do this. You'll be crazy rich if you keep it. You'll remember that you used to have billions of dollars in Bitcoin, but sold it for Ferrari if you take money off the top or sell it. That will be bad. In that case, I believe there will still be some OGs who are very involved. But I think in the end, over time, Base Network will have between 10 and 100,000 large financial institutions that will settle large amounts. There is a reason why every business and family owner should use Bitcoin. What is that? 1,200 families? Bitcoin should be the standard for all people who own things. We're going to do something different today. I just want to rip Michael Saylor's lies apart. The only real Bitcoin maximalist who doesn't care about logic or common sense and promotes Bitcoin even when it doesn't make sense at all. In this video, Michael Saylor talks about how everyone will use the Bitcoin base layer, kind of like how Bitcoin could become widely used by everyone today so that people can give money to each other. The Lightning Network, which is Bitcoin's basic layer 2 solution, doesn't even let you do this right now. This is because each transaction on Bitcoin's layer 1 solution takes 15 minutes. Your favorite restaurants and a lot of other businesses aren't using Bitcoin yet because they need a large amount of Bitcoin on hand in order for the Lightning Network to work. And because of the price of Bitcoin, that is very expensive. Any of these businesses could take XRP, Solana, HBR, even BNB, Cardano, or anything else, though, and it would cost a lot less. They wouldn't have to deal with the stress of having to buy something that's worth a lot of money, and the deals would go through faster. A huge amount of money was spent to set it up. However, no one is going to do that just to get one more Bitcoin exchange every once in a while. It doesn't make sense. This technology can't be used by real people. Michael Saylor is going to go into a lot of detail about why he thinks Bitcoin is so great and why everyone should use it. He will say that Bitcoin is the best thing since sliced bread. I am going to explain why I don't believe that to be true and why I believe he is talking about other coins. These are the tools that will really make the world a better place. Now let's watch the video. If you support the XRP HBAR army, don't forget to click the like button. Okay, let's listen to what he has to say. I believe that the best way to think about money in the modern world is as something that can be used to buy things and something that can be used to keep value. A unit of account is used to store value, and a unit of account is used to buy and sell things. It's better to think of the dollar versus Bitcoin or a bank account versus a savings account. In order to price things every day, you will have something like a high-speed dollar. After that, you'll have another capital item that you'll use to keep your value safe for 100 years. Okay, I'm not in charge of a country, so don't ask me, but I believe it would be wrong to try to create a currency based on a capital asset. Like, you shouldn't really price all of your burgers in terms of New York City real estate. You also don't want to price your sandwiches in Picasso works or gold ounces. From what I can tell, you have cash and money. Bitcoin is money. It's money made online. It's not electronic money. Think of the dollar as a stable coin that can be used as digital money. There are also strong and weak currencies. You can say that the Avenue or the Naira is a weak currency, like something that goes up in value by 14% or 30% every year. Strong currencies that are rising at 7% a year didn't come up for me. The capital, on the other hand, is not rising at all. Bitcoin is money. The money isn't very strong. The money is not weak. It is an item worth money. I believe that some countries that are tied to the dollar are having a hard time, and I believe a lot of your currencies are falling apart against the dollar. The dollar comes next. If stable coins work, which they will, if the US gets the Genius Bill and US banks and corporations can make stable coins backed by US dollars, the market will grow from 250 billion to 1 trillion to 2 trillion to 4 trillion to 10 trillion. It's also important to think about who will buy it. And the answer is people who would have had rubles, Chinese yuan, any African currency or any South American currency. In other words, I believe that the world's weak currencies will slowly lose their importance. The dollar will get stronger, in my opinion. I believe that our currencies will be pushed to the edges. I believe the world has 40,000 big banks and 400 million businesses. I agree with that, and there are, of course, many groups. It's my opinion that as Bitcoin becomes more important to the world economy, you'll see how about 1,000 banks trade directly with each other. I think that the banks, the managers, the megacorps, I can see a world where every big bank and tech company, maybe a Google, an Apple, and a Microsoft, are all settling or moving big amounts of Bitcoin around on the base layer. For governments, you might think that Apple, Google, the US, the Bank of China, the Bank of Russia, and the Bank of England would be the main users of the base layer. If any of those things exist, if there is a country, if there is a bank, then you would think that Citi would be sending billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin to B of A, Wells Fargo, Santander, Deutsche Bank, Swiss Bank, and Bank of Japan. For some reason, I think Microsoft will move billions and tens of billions of Bitcoin back and forth between Microsoft and Google. I think Visa and all the other payment networks will have a lot of Bitcoin. I believe that if you are a real person and are using Bitcoin right now, you are one of the first people to do this. You'll be crazy rich if you keep it. You will remember that you used to have billions of dollars in Bitcoin, but sold it for Ferrari. If you take money off the top or sell it, that will be bad. Yeah, and I think there will still be some OGs who are very involved, but I think in the end, by the end, the base network will have between 10 and 100,000 large banks that will settle large amounts of money. I also think the network will grow in layer 2 and 3. I believe that the Lightning Network will turn out to be a fast, frequent, and low-value payment network that will put together 1 million websites, 1 million mobile apps, or in other words, Michael Saylor is making a lot of claims without giving any proof that these things are true. I don't like this at all because Michael Saylor keeps saying that Bitcoin is a so earth of value, just like gold or real estate. But the companies he's talking about, like Visa or MasterCard or even Microsoft, that will be dealing in these huge amounts of Bitcoin in the future. What makes them want to hold Bitcoin? It seems very strange that they would think that. It's true that Microsoft has already made several suggestions to their board about how they could start buying Bitcoin carefully, but their board has turned them down and said they won't do it. It looks like there's a missing piece here to me. They might start buying Bitcoin in the future to spread out their stocks and make their portfolio more diverse. But why would they hold Bitcoin if they're planning to use safe coins like Visa or the big banks while building apps and AI-related things and different financial rails? This is something we all know they're going to do. They could use safe coins to make transactions and make money from the working cryptocurrencies that solve their problems. So why wouldn't they do that? That looks like the next step that any of these businesses should take. When they build these crypto lines, they'll use blockchains that already work, like Ethereum, BNB, Solana, XRP, or HBR. They will use the tracks that are already there and build stablecoins on top of them. As always, they will make money from the small transaction fees. What role does Bitcoin play in that? Do you know how much of that trillions and trillions of dollars in trades will come to these blockchains through stablecoins? The answer is no, it doesn't. You can't build a stablecoin on top of Bitcoin, but you can on Ethereum, the XRPL, or HBR's hash graph network. You just can't do it on Bitcoin. At least in my opinion, the real answer is that Bitcoin does not fit into this equation at all. Michael Saylor is basically offering a pipe dream by trying to make Bitcoin fit into this equation when it doesn't. These guys aren't using Bitcoin to make safe coins. They can't. That's why it seems very strange to me. I do believe that cryptocurrency is a truly amazing tool. It doesn't make much sense to use an old, out-of-date technology like Bitcoin, which can be used as a store of value, to say that it's going to lead the change for huge new technologies that it can't even do. I hope you all get that and agree with it. XRP and Ripple are building stable coins, their rails, and the tools that banks can use to handle these transactions. Seeing trillions of dollars flow through the XRPL would make a lot more sense than Bitcoin, which is much less likely to happen but could still happen on Bitcoin. This would likely be better for XRP and the XRP ecosystem because they need to hold XRP or some other cryptocurrency that can process stablecoin transactions on that network to pay the gas fees, right? You name it, XRP, Ethereum, etc. These are the ones I'm going to look at now. When it comes to stablecoin deals, Bitcoin is definitely not a good choice. Yes, there are many things to think about here. I do think that Michael Saylor is clearly very biased. He used to buy Bitcoin for people who put money into his business through a company, just buys Bitcoins. He will, of course, only talk about Bitcoin. He's going to be a Bitcoin maximalist until the very end, which doesn't make sense. 10 years ago, it might have made sense, but now the world is so different from then. There are now a lot more coins that could do the job much better. That being said, I'm going to trade a lot based on how things are going in the market right now. Really great things are going to happen for XRP, HBAR, and a few other cryptocurrencies I just named. I'm going to trade all of them. Here are some examples of trades that have been going really well for me or other people in my neighborhood. I mean, make a few moves that sometimes make you more than 100%. I've had months when I made 400% or more. That's why I want to invite you all to join that group for free. It's very easy. Do what it says on the page in 3 steps. Feel free to like and follow if you liked what you saw today, and I'll see